You may not see it, but I am surrounded by boxes, and I am slightly convinced that my cat is going to take out one of my lights while I'm filming this video. Hi everybody, it is time for me to talk about some of the things I've been loving. In the past I've kind of done this on a monthly basis, but recently I thought that I would try maybe more of a quarterly or every couple of months or seasonal or whatever you want to call it, mainly just because I'm avoiding a lot of new stuff, especially right now because we are expecting to be moving in the next few months. And if you're curious about that, you can check out my goals video from March where I talked about it. Suffice it to say, it'll be coming up a lot in the next few videos. Enough of that though, let's get going and talk about some of the stuff that I have been loving in the first quarter of 2021. First and foremost, and most tragically, is my office redo. I have a video that I did of this already. You can see it. I'll link that up in the ether if you would like to check it out. But right now, while the background is still basically the way I set it up, in front of me, and most of these drawers have been emptied out and boxed up, the aforementioned boxes my cat is on, and I will be taking down these two desks in front of me to stage the house. So my office redo lasted less than 3 months, but I'm so glad I did it. Having my desk near the window has been amazing. It has really opened our living room up. Apparently not enough because we need to have it more opened up to stage our house. This new redo, and including the new corner desk and the chair that I'm sitting in, which is much more ergonomically friendly, has been just a major quality of life upgrade for me and has made these months pleasant. And even though half of the office is getting disassembled, I get to keep my desk in the corner. I thought I was gonna have to take everything down to have it as a dining room, but thankfully our realtor was like, no, you can keep your desk, just take a bunch of it out. So I'm gonna make it work. If you are interested in seeing what I'm keeping, because I am keeping some supplies, but most of my supplies are getting packed up or are already packed up. If you want to see what I'm keeping to get through these next few months with the skeleton of work that I'm doing while I'm trying to get ready to move to Denver, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I joke about not being a cat person, right? Let's just say it's getting to be more and more of a joke because my new slippers are they're calling me out, man. They are the women's what are they called? The women's Too Cozy Meow pajama slippers. They have little cat faces on them, but more importantly, they have a like soft kind of memory foam inside, and they are furry, but they have a back. They like fit like shoes and have a nice kind of like hard enough sole to be able to go outside, take out the trash or whatever, but they're warm, they're furry, and they have memory foam. And one of the things that I have discovered in the past 4 years working from home, especially in a house that is the majority hard, it's laminate floors. If I just am walking around barefoot or in socks all day, it not only is cold for my little footsies, but it also makes them fucking ache. And I have discovered that memory foam slippers tend to be the ones that are the most comfortable for me, and I tend to go through them on about a 6-month basis. These were the new ones I got because I couldn't find the ones I usually get from Target when I went shopping the last time, and I got them on sale at the shoe outlets. They have cats. I have cat slippers. I guess I am a cat person. Maybe, I say as I'm staring at my cat as he's about to knock my lamp over. I've talked in recent videos about how much I love Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk lipstick. I absolutely love it. However, I have a second lip color favorite that seems strange to have a second one, to come up with 2 lip color favorites in a pandemic when I'm wearing a mask anytime I leave the house, but it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So for my birthday this year, Sephora had, you know, some of the little gifts you can get on your birthday when you put an order in, and I had to order something. So I got my birthday gift, and I decided to grab one that was a little like trial sized NARS, I don't know, bronzer or something, and a lip balm. And it's this one. It's the NARS, what is it called? Laguna. It's this, because I bought the full size one. I loved it so much. I actually used that one so much that I almost ran out of it. The color is Laguna. It is, oh God, I think it's a limited edition. I don't know if it's a limited edition for the color, but it's definitely a limited edition for the packaging. I am so bad at names today, you guys. The Afterglow Lip Balm Laguna collection. And I'm wearing it right now. It's just a basic, like brownish kind of shimmery, really comfortable lip balm. And I'm just really enjoying both the color. It has enough color to make my lips look awake, and it is moisturizing enough to feel comfortable. And I enjoy it for around the house, for when I'm jumping on a call where I don't want to put on full makeup, and it's making me happy right now, and the packaging's really pretty. So I don't know if I'm going to rebuy this when I'm done with it, especially if it's limited edition, but in the meantime, I am going to absolutely love it. And my quest for more nude and brown and neutral colored lip products. Just, it continues. The next two items go together. If you have been following me on any of my videos or anything else recently, then you may have heard that RJ and I are on a tea kick. I can drink coffee. I like coffee okay. I'm not a huge fan of the taste of it. I usually have to put some creamer and shit in it to make it tolerable, but I have always loved tea. When I was in college, Earl Grey tea was my caffeine of choice to keep me up on study nights. And recently, I have fallen right back into the tea time rabbit hole, especially when it comes to having like afternoon tea with some biscuits, whatever they call the knobbly biscuits, the hobnobs. I get those from World Market so I can feel super British or whatever. It's not the tea that's been super exciting for me. It's the fact that my son is super into it as well, and we will have tea together both in the morning when we're both waking up and in the afternoon when we're both, you know, mellowing out a little bit. I decided to invest. It's not a huge investment. It really wasn't that expensive, but like I upgraded our tea kettle a little bit, our electric kettle. We just had an old one we got from Target for like 20 bucks. It turned blue and I liked it. I read that having different temperatures of water is good for different kinds of tea. So I decided to upgrade to a electric kettle that gives you a few different options when it comes to temperature. There are some really expensive tea kettles out there. That is not what I got. The one I got is the Queen Sense electric kettle that has 5 different temperature settings and a 12-hour keep warm function, which I have not tested because we just drink the water as we use it. So we got that tea kettle to try the different temperatures, and then to go along with that, I got a glass teapot off of Amazon as well that comes with a diffuser in it. I believe it is a 4-cup tea kettle. I keep looking at my phone because I am the most unprepared person. I don't have any of the names of any of these things, but that's okay. Yeah, it's a 3 to 4 cup tea infuser with like a metal situation that sits in it. And you put the loose leaf tea in it and then you pour it in and then you take it out and then you have a little glass tea, and it comes with a little like koozie that keeps it warm, which actually does a fairly decent job of keeping it warm for at least a couple of hours. And that has helped us really do the loose leaf tea thing when it's both of us. When it was just one of us drinking tea, I was fine with a tea bag. Tea bag. Now that both of us are drinking tea on a regular basis, I felt like upgrading to a tea kettle with an infuser was helpful. And so both of these together sit next to the coffee pot. It's a very crowded little piece of our kitchen. I'm hoping that when we move, we have a little bit more room to stretch out the beverage station. But in the meantime, RJ will poke me every day and come up to me and like, is it tea time, Mom? And I'm like, hell yeah, it is. Let's make some tea. We've even been going through some like samplers we ordered from David's Tea to try some different ones. Tea time with my boy has been greatly accented by these two things to facilitate it. And we're using the shit out of both of them, which was the thing I wanted to make sure when I spent the money on them, because the last thing I like to do is to buy a small appliance for my kitchen and never use it. I'm looking at you, air fryer. Not that I'm saying air fryers suck. We just never seem to get around to using ours, probably because it takes up about 1/4 of the entire counter space of our kitchen, and that's conservative. My next favorite is not going to surprise you if you have been paying attention to me at all in the last 3 months. It was a Christmas present from my husband. It was like my main Christmas present, and I love it, and it is my Kindle. I have a Kindle Oasis. Got some random rose gold because of course cover that I bought on Amazon as well. I love it. I have always told myself that I would never do electronic books, that I like the smell of books, I like the feel of books. Those are all true. But I also have tendinitis, and holding books can be really hard for me sometimes, especially if they're fat-ass fantasy books like what I like to read. And being able to hold my Kindle like this while I'm reading and just flip the pages like that is just fucking excellent for me. And on top of that, most of you who are already on the Kindle bandwagon reminded me to check out whatever e-library options our local libraries have, and I have that through Libby, and I have been checking out hella books and reading them. I think that the amount of progress I've made on my 100-book goal for this year, and there'll be more on that in a video next week about my 21 and 2021 update, so stay tuned for that. But I don't think I would have made anywhere near as much progress had I not gotten this Kindle. And as a matter of fact, I think the book decluttering that I did earlier this month in preparation for moving would have been a lot more difficult if I had not had this as an addition to my arsenal. I love it. I'm a convert. I am a convert. I still love the feel of a book. I still love the smell of a book, but I am no longer bound to that. I'm making all sorts of puns this video, I swear to God. I'm no longer bound to that when it comes to my reading pleasures. I don't admit this very often. I was wrong. Speaking of books, I've read a lot of books so far this year. I have enjoyed most of them, with a few exceptions. By far, I think the ones I have enjoyed the most, like devoured the fastest, and then went and devoured the TV show, the All Souls trilogy, and the TV show A Discovery of Witches. I love fantasy, I love historical fiction, I love romance, and I feel like these books kind of melded the three together in a really smart way. And then as for the show, the first season I really loved it. I think Matthew Good is a snack. I was not as big of a fan of Teresa Palmer playing the main character Diana, but the second season she won me over hardcore, and James Purefoy as Philippe and Stephen Cree as Gallowglass, just chef's kiss. So I am really enjoying it. I cannot wait for the third season, and I will likely read them again. I've also read the fourth book, Time's Convert, which is not part of the trilogy. It's like a side novel. And I enjoyed it, but nowhere near as much as the original trilogy. So if you are at all into any of those genres I brought up, give them a try, because they're good times. They're also a lot of mystery, and there's genetics. Like, hell yeah. This next thing is pricey. I'm gonna just say it. It's pricey, it's expensive, and I love it, and I am so glad I bought it. And that is the Magic Keyboard to go with my new iPad Pro. I upgraded to the most recent iPad Pro in December. I think I got it in January when it finally showed up. And I decided to go along with the Magic Keyboard, and you can see it like floats here and everything else. Basically, it works with a trackpad. If you have the new iPad, it works with the trackpad, and it serves as a little laptop, which is excellent because my old laptop is about 6 years out of date and needs a little bit of love for me to be able to use it. And I'm mostly gonna have Jesse use it when he helps me out with the shop. I loved my old iPad Pro. This one's a little bit smaller footprint, but still plenty of nice room on the actual screen. But this isn't even about the iPad. This is about the keyboard. The keyboard transforms this into a little laptop for me. It can't do everything a laptop, but it can do a lot of the things that I would like it to, and it is so helpful for my workflow to be able to be working on my computer and having the iPad open like a laptop to be working there when I'm doing scheduling, when I am doing a lot of administrative stuff. It is so helpful, and I am just really loving it. I've gotten my money's worth out of it easily in the last couple of months, and I'm going to continue to keep using both the iPad as an iPad and the iPad as a laptop, but it's pricey. I would not suggest buying the Magic Keyboard just for the fun. If you're upgrading an iPad and you're thinking that the Magic Keyboard could actually be really helpful for you, it works beautifully. Having a touchpad and a keyboard for my iPad it's like outstanding. It's definitely not an impulse buy, I don't think. We're moving into the stationery realm of things, my favorite part, and this month this quarter at least, I have 3 different types of pen to recommend to you. First of all is the Optimus fine line markers. These are cheap. You can get them at the dollar store. I got mine in a box on Amazon, and I think I like these more than I like Papermate flares. As a heavy-handed person, I find these to be more comfortable than either a Papermate flare or an Amazon knockoff flare. These Optimus pens, they look cheap. They look like hot garbo. They have like that silvery foil. Like, these are not the sexiest looking pens. They are light. They do not have a nice heft to them. But as a heavy-handed person, the writing experience with them is fabulous. This is pretty much the only pen, and I only just replaced this. I have been using this as the only pen in my power sheets and almost all of my note-taking since December of last year, and I just now started a second one. That should tell you something if you're a heavy-handed person like me. Next pens are some that I have talked shit on before, and now I feel guilty about it, and that is the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist brush pens. I do not like these for brush lettering. They're too floppy for me for brush lettering, but the color range of these is fabulous. I love my Tombos, and I will continue to use my Tombos. The addition of these colors, it's just expanded the color palettes that I have been really enjoying, and as I have been really focusing on specific color palettes for things like my bullet journal lately and other projects I've been working on as well that I'll talk more about in future videos. Having the different colors of these Pitt Artist pens to add to the Tombos has been really awesome. The greens, the grays, the like corally kind of colors fit into the Tombow sort of range and fill in some of the gaps that there are like with the Tombow markers. Again, much like the Magic Keyboard, I do not recommend you go out and buy a shit ton of these if you don't use the shit out of your markers, but if you do, these could be a good choice. I also like that the brush is a little smaller. Again, I hate it for brush lettering, but for making lines and like coloring and things like that, I really like having a slightly smaller option that's not as small as the Fude pens. I left these in my office when I packed up almost every other brush pen. The only pens I left are my Tombows, these guys, and a couple of the Fude like small tipped brush pens. That tells you how much I'm liking them lately. And then finally, this should not surprise you if you watch my recent review, but I have decided that I love these Zig Clean Color dot markers. I have not been converted to the dot art kind of land of things. Stippling annoys the shit out of me. I used to love it. However, using these to make to-do lists and as highlighters, they're just a great other option. I love the color selection. The biggest issue with these is that if you are heavy-handed, there is a learning curve when it comes to making evenly sized dots, but I don't really give that much of a shit about the learning curve because the amount of time and effort sounds small, but I was always putting those little stickers down in my power sheets and having these to make the little color-coded dots. It's a quality of life upgrade I didn't know I needed. And what I would love to do is start incorporating these into my bullet journal as well. I'm just not really sure how I'm going to do that yet, so stay tuned. And the last two things I'm going to talk about are bullet journal related, and they are actually two different situations. If you've been watching my live weekly plan with me's every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time right here on this channel, you should subscribe. You will not be surprised by either of these. They have basically made my planner life so much better. Now, I used to use a planner and a bullet journal in tandem, and I may go back to that at some point, but at the moment I am living a bullet journal only lifestyle. Okay, there's power sheets and the digital calendar, but I'm talking about like a Erin Condren type planner with my bullet journal. Not doing that. I'm just using my bullet journal. And the reason that it's been working for me so well has been because of the rolling weekly method that I totally ganked from Plant-Based Bride, which she converted from the Alistair method. She has a whole video explaining it. I will link it down below. But basically what it is a task list where you can put all of your tasks that are not necessarily assigned to any particular day, but then be able to track what days you worked on them, what days you got them done, what days you procrastinated on them. It's a method that works really well with how my mind works, and it has been keeping me on track with all of the tasks that I have in my life because I'm very much a task-based person. It's been helping immensely, and as the move is really starting to get underway in this house, all of the things with moving and buying and selling and all those things, I am imagining that the rolling weekly is going to become extremely crucial to me, and it's going to probably take up more real estate on my weekly spreads. Now, the second thing that I have loved has been really a March specific thing, because one of my goals this month was to time batch and to track it, to stay on top of it, because for me, working for myself, it's really easy to let certain things cannibalize all of my time. For example, if I was left to my own devices, then I would be spending hella time packing the house up for moving and not a lot of time working on my actual work, and then my deadlines and things would start to bite me in the ass. And it is important that I prioritize those things, A, because I have deadlines, and B, because other people in this house need to help with the same moving situations. It can't just be on me. And if I just do all of the things, then they can fart around and not deal with it. So one of the ways to make sure they do things is to not do it all myself. And what was important to me this month was to find a method of time tracking my batching in a way that was helpful but not overwhelming. I found that in a time tracking spread that I totally ganked from Yukiri Studies on Instagram. Again, I'll link them down below. It's kind of generic, like you could write down everything you exactly did, but for me, it's basically a way to stay super accountable in my bullet journal. I've been using it for the entire month of March. I'm not entirely certain I'm gonna keep using it in April. I haven't figured my goals out for April just yet, although when you see this video, they will already be up because I'm batch filming to go with all my batch everything else. It's been really helpful to see where my time is going, and more importantly, I don't want it to look like I've been sitting around on my ass all day, so I need to make sure to use my time wisely so that it reflects that in my bullet journal and I can be proud of myself. Some people might lie and just make it look good for the internet, but for me, I am a rule follower and I need to make sure I'm doing it correctly. But I feel really bad when it doesn't look the way I want it to. So that's something that has always worked for me with time tracking, and I'm taking advantage of it now. And this time tracking spread is both helpful for me and very aesthetic. And those are a bunch of things I've been loving in the first quarter of 2021. I imagine that next quarter's video is going to mostly be filled with moving things because that's basically what my life is turning into. And to be fair, the last 2 months of this quarter have been focused on that as well, but you know, sometimes shit just takes over your life. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, something you have been loving in the past few months. Is it a favorite book? Is it a favorite pen? Is it a favorite TV show? Is it a favorite Bath & Body Works smell? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, peace.